The universe, from its deepest ocean depths to the highest celestial spheres and beyond, is one of the wonders of the modern world. The most distant space telescope is sending back terrifying data to Earth. What is this unique technology, what did it find in the area, and how will the information in message affect NASA's history and humanity in general? Thank you for visiting Space Unearthed. Keep your eyes on the prize as we get ready to entertain you with the most distant space telescope ever built on Earth's surface. NASA's Voyager 1 travels into outer space on a dangerous and mysterious trip. It and its sibling Voyager 2 have travelled across and beyond the limits of the solar system into an interstellar medium, placing them approximately 14.6 billion miles from Earth. Anything can go wrong when things are that so far away. Voyager 1, launched in 1977, shortly after its twin, Voyager 2, explored the Jovian and the Saturnian systems, discovered new moons and active volcanoes, and gathered extensive information about the outer solar system. The identical Voyager spacecraft are 3-axis stabilized devices that keep the pointing of the high-gain antennas towards Earth by celestial or gyro-referenced altitude control. The main science payload for the mission was made up of 10 instruments. Therefore, when strange jumbled nonsense began to arrive in the place of telemetry data from the Voyager 1 in May of this year, NASA engineers would have been justified in calling it a day and pouring one out for what may have been the most successful space project in history. Instead, they got to work on the record-breaking spacecraft's remote diagnosis and repair. A little over 4 months later, they had won. As if nothing had ever occurred, Voyager 1 is back online and communicating flawlessly with ground control. The 45-year-old spacecraft looked to be performing remarkably well whilst cruising across interstellar space and was sending reams of data back to Earth. However, in mid-May, Voyager 1's onboard attitude articulation and control system, or AACS, which is in charge of maintaining the spacecraft's high-gain antenna pointing at Earth, began transmitting misleading data instead of regular updates on the spacecraft's condition. From our vantage point, it appeared as though the spacecraft had experienced electronic aphasia. Engineers identified this issue with the probe, which takes 21 hours, 45 minutes and 45 seconds to send and the same length of time to receive data from Earth, and tried a low-risk solution before instructing the AACS to resume transmitting the data to the appropriate computer. Engineers were even more perplexed by the fact that the Voyager 1 seemed in fine shape despite the spacecraft's strange status updates. The ship's radio signals remained solid and constant, indicating that the antenna was still orientated on Earth and not in the position that the AACS had claimed in its reports to NASA. Like how the AACS continued to function normally without the same strangeness, Voyager 1's science systems collected and transmitted data as usual. At this time, Voyager 1 is more than 23.4 billion kilometers from Earth. On the NASA website, you can examine the current space positions of both the Voyager spacecrafts and the growing separation between them. Nearly 35 years after its journey started, the spacecraft entered interstellar space in August of 2012. However, the discovery wasn't made public until 2013, when researchers had the time to examine information that had returned from the Voyager 1. The twin spacecraft Voyager 1 launched second, yet it was the first to pass close to Jupiter and Saturn. Many media outlets and textbooks have used the photographs that Voyager 1 returned for a generation. The Golden Record, a special record from the spacecraft also carries, is intended to transmit music and voices from Earth into the universe. The Voyager missions utilized a unique alignment of the outer planets, which only takes place once every 176 years. By making the best use of their limited fuel, spaceships can gravitationally slingshot from one planet to the next thanks to this alignment. NASA had originally intended to send 4 spacecrafts through the solar system, 2 to Jupiter, 2 to Saturn, 2 to Pluto, and 2 more to Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune. NASA had to scale back its plans due to budgetary constraints, but the 2 Voyager spacecraft it launched were nevertheless very useful. Voyager 1 unexpectedly discovered a tiny ring encircling the massive planet in March of 1979, surprising NASA. It discovered Thebe and Metis, 2 new moons. Along with Amalthea, Voyager 1 also returned in-depth images of Jupiter's large Galilean moons. Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Voyager discovered Jupiter's moons to be dynamic worlds similar to the Pioneer spacecraft. Additionally, Voyager 1 discovered some fascinating information about these natural satellites. In addition, images of Europa returned by Voyager 1 show a surface that is largely smooth but is interrupted by lines, suggesting the presence of ice and possibly even an ocean beneath. Later observations and analysis have shown that Europa most likely contains a vast ocean of liquid water beneath its surface. This ocean may even be able to sustain life similar to that on Earth. Do you really want to know about all the further discoveries that have been captured by the Voyager 1 over the past years? Well, let's watch the video to the end to know more. On March 5th, 1979, Voyager 1 travelled the closest to Jupiter, skirting only 174,000 miles or 280,000 kilometers from Jupiter's tumultuous cloud tops. The probe should then be directed towards Saturn at that time. In 1980, scientists finally received an up-close view of Saturn almost a year later. The ringed planet turned out to be just as unpredictable as Jupiter. The F-ring, a narrow structure identified by NASA's Pioneer 11 probe barely a year earlier, was one of Voyager 1's goals. Prometheus and Pandora, two new moons whose orbit hold the frozen material in the F-ring in a specified orbit, were discovered by Voyager's high-resolution camera. Additionally, it captured photographs of numerous other Saturn moons and found Atlas and a brand new ring called the G-ring. The primary mission of Voyager 1 ended with an encounter with Saturn. The emphasis subsequently moved to follow the 720kg or 1,590 pound spacecraft as it accelerated towards interstellar space. However, Voyager 1 captured one of spaceflight's most famous images 20 years before it reached that milestone. The probe turned back towards Earth on February 14, 1990, and took a picture of the globe from a distance of 3.7 billion miles or 6 billion kilometers. Earth appears as a small dot in the image, suspended in a ray of sunshine. Engineers are still aware of the spacecraft's capabilities. For instance, NASA reported in December 2017 that Voyager 1 had successfully orientated itself to speak with Earth using its backup thrusters. Since Voyager 1's flyby of Saturn in November 1980, the Trajectory Correction Maneuver, or TCM, thrusters have not been deployed. Since then, the spacecraft has mostly swung into the proper orientation for communication with Earth using its regular altitude control thrusters. Although NASA decided to test the TCM thrusters when the altitude control thrusters' performance deteriorated, this could have prolonged Voyager 1's operational life. But in the end, the test was successful. The mission team has taken other steps to increase Voyager 1's lifespan. For instance, they turned off Voyager 1's cameras soon after the pale blue dot image was taken to conserve the spacecraft's meager power supply. Only the cosmic ray subsystem, the low energy charged particles instrument, the magnetometer, and the plasma wave subsystem remain on the Voyager 1 as scientific instruments after years of mission crew work to deactivate 5 further pieces of equipment. In 2022, the twin Voyager spacecraft will have spent a combined 45 years in orbit, an enormous accomplishment. When the Voyager approaches the star AC plus 793888 in 40,000 years, it will have its next significant encounter. However, Voyager 1 will likely stop gathering scientific data around 2025 because of a declining power supply. With that all said, I hope you are now well knowledgeable about the photographs taken by the most powerful space telescope. Consider leaving a comment if you have any thoughts on the Voyager images, and hit the like button and subscribe button for more space related videos. Thank you very much for joining us, it's been a pleasure having you, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.